A whole lot better. A whole lot better. A whole lot better. A whole lot better. A whole lot better.
Hello, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's great to see so many of you here to see what's coming up in Lightworks 2022. Please make sure you say hi to each other in the chat and let everyone know where you're joining from. I can see people already doing that. I love that. There are people quite literally from all four corners of the world tuning in right now. Just shows what an awesome community that we have. And a special thanks and a big shout out to anyone that really made the effort to stay up extra late or wake up extra early to log in. You guys get extra points. My name's Martin. I'm the one there at the bottom right of your screen, looking off into the middle distance in what I think is quite a presidential pose. But don't worry, you're not going to hear too much from me. I'm just here to let you know what we're doing today and to introduce you to the much more important people that we have on this slide here. So let's jump in to the agenda and introductions. We're not going to hold you up too long today. We're running lean. We're going to get straight to the good stuff. First off, a very brief overview of how 2021 has gone for LWKS as a company, and more importantly, for Lightworks as well. Then we dive straight into Lightworks 2022. That's what we're all here for. And then we'll be looking at how it works in the wild with a live, no safety net, no pressure demo. And then it's our big black and blue Friday offer. Before finishing off with your questions, please use the Q&A widget at the bottom. That really helps us keep track. Try not to put the questions in the chat. It's just a bit difficult for us to get through them, but we'll be answering all questions at the end after the demo. So that's what we're doing. Here's who's doing it. Please let me introduce, first off, our legendary product manager, Matt Sanford. Matt is so deeply involved and integrated in every aspect of Lightworks that sometimes it's just hard to tell where the product ends and where the product manager begins. He is quite simply Mr. Lightworks, and he'll be taking care of a demo and answering any questions at the end. We're also super lucky to have the LWKS CEO with us today, Peter Lambert. Peter is one of a few men that can truly be called a video industry pioneer. He was there right at the beginning of digital editing, and now he leads us here at Lightworks and QScan from the front. Peter has a slightly easier job, I'd say, of announcing what's new in Lightworks 2022, launching our exclusive offers, and he'll also be around at the end for questions too. Okay, I think that's more than enough from me. Peter, it's over to you to kick off Lightworks 2022.
Oh, thanks, Martin. So summary of the last year, well, it's 14 months ago during the pandemic lockdown, we created LWKS Software Limited, dedicated to Lightworks, QScan, and the people who use our products. This year, we've invested in our team, and we're now really beginning to see the results. So far this year, we've launched 3 major Lightworks releases, each one targeting, important areas. In March, the big feature was the universal timeline, which allows users to mix and match frame rates and aspect ratios. In July, we introduced a number of easier to get started tools to expand the accessibility of real editing to more people. And we had cloud integrations, not only allowing phone camera footage to be updated to Lightworks wirelessly for all users, but also enabling remote collaboration and backup through the likes of Google Drive, Google Pictures, Dropbox, and pCloud. We've launched 2 major QScan releases where QScan is our test and measurement product. The big one is templates. And this is all about making AQC something that anyone can use, not just someone who's got a degree in video signals and things. So we've got a host of templates, always could do with more, but we've got a lot, from YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, and traditional broadcast. So AQC is now as simple as select a file, select a template, and off you go. And we haven't dumbed down QScan in the process. For more advanced users, we've introduced a whole range of really fab HDR absolute measurements, which are very important as people move to HDR. And there's complexities in that which the film and the video engineers will enjoy. Across the board, we've introduced monthly and yearly subscriptions plus outright purchasing. So this required a whole host of under the hood infrastructure, new licensing servers, new forum, and much more. It was pretty difficult to take these out of our previous organization and create them from scratch and improve them so that they really did justice to the new organization. But it's all about giving the creators a choice. So with subscription, you get all the updated features, all of the upgrades, all of the time. And with outright, you get a choice in what you buy and when. Focusing on today, we'll start with Lightworks Free. It's our intention to make it easier to start with Lightworks, as I previously said. So it's appropriate to modify and declutter some features that are seriously too mind-bending for a new user, like simplifying metadata choices and removing high-end pro capabilities like AAF export, broadcast WAV, AVC intra. These are the kind of things you need to edit high-end films or do broadcast work. But our research tells us they intimidate new users, and that's not what we want. We've introduced 3-month activations before needing a further login. This is because many new users misunderstood our 7-day activation period to be some kind of sneaky try before you buy ploy. So Lightworks Free is now has a much longer activation period before free users have to put in a subsequent login. So just to be clear, it's not a trial and it wasn't a trial, but we wanted to know the statistics of how many users were active with Lightworks, but we're confusing the users, so we have changed it. So now Lightworks Free is bundled with 70 new creative transitions. And transitions are great for helping bridge the gaps between cuts and scenes to keep a story moving. Therefore, transitions are often the new user's gateway into more complex effects. With a simplified learning curve, a reduction in the complexities of things like shooting on a mobile phone and downloading to Lightworks wirelessly, creatives can focus on what's needed, getting started and establishing themselves in video editing. The big thing for today is we're launching a new product, Lightworks Create. It's configured for filmmakers, corporate, education, government, and other communicators. These creatives need advanced titles and motion graphics, eliminating the need to go to expensive and really complicated to use external packages and then export and then import. From today, the Lightworks Create user will have over 800 customizable title and text effects to take their videos to new levels with greater ease and much less cost than ever before. Publishing is made easier with inbuilt integration tools and templates, making the delivery of professional, social, and marketing videos as simple as possible, up to 4K resolution. So Lightworks Creates lets creators edit using a powerful desktop application from anywhere in the world. They can collaborate on projects with friends, colleagues, and clients, all with a basic internet connection. And it's $10 a month. Less if you take out a year subscription. Our flagship is still Lightworks Pro. And Lightworks Pro contains all the capabilities of the free and create products, but now adds essential, correct, and enhance tools, adding 300 effects to remove noise, stabilize images, fix flashes and distortion, as well as fine-tune things like luminance and much more. We've adopted an open plugin architecture supporting OpenFX, OFX, VST3, audio units, and LADSPAR. Lightworks Pro now works with the creative partners of all sorts, people who make plugins from across the VFX and audio world to make a complete creative suite with improved post-production workflows for all pros. And it's still just $24 a month, which is great value. So now let's get into actually seeing the product with Matt. So over to you.
Thank you, Peter. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second live demo from me. Thank you to Peter and Martin especially for the kind introduction. It's very nice to see some names popping up on the participants list, especially flattered to see Oakley McCann making an appearance. So I'm going to take you through our new version, which is 2022.1. This is our new version, which has got three sort of really big killer features in it. And the biggest ones being open effects, video plugins, audio plugins, which is something we've never had in Lightworks at all, and some new social export formats that are available in the new licensing tiers that Peter mentioned, the Create and the Pro. So with the, we'll start with the video effects. And what I'll say about that is that although it's open effects and every vendor, we support New Blue and Boris Effects as two sort of main providers. And if they're installed or you've got other plugins installed, what happens is when you run up this version of Lightworks, is it will scan those plugins and it will make those plugins available on the plugins tab. So here we are on the VFX tab. Under the plus menu item here, we go to our plugins menu. You can see I've got Boris installed and I've got New Blue installed and various other plugins available to me. What's particularly nice about this is if I click on the settings menu here, there's a couple of things I can do here. I can actually decide which video plugins I want to see on this list. Some of them may be important to me, some of them not. So all I've done there is I've just gone through, you can see I've got various different plugins, Sapphire, Ignite, all disabled. And that's just a matter of me just ticking the box there and unticking it if I don't want it to appear on my list. So as I tick it, you can see that 3D objects appears there. And as I untick it, it disappears. So a nice way of sort of being able to manage the list of stuff that you've got installed that perhaps you don't particularly want to use, or you don't want to have to sort of scroll through. So I've got my sequence down here, which has got some clips together with a little Facebook page at the end. And what I want to do is, so I'm going to take you through, because this is a webinar, I'm going to take you through some of the sort of things we've not been able to do in Lightworks before with some of these plugins, and obviously visual things that come across hopefully in the webinar. So rather than me scrolling through all of these different options here, what I'm actually going to put in here is flare, because I want to put a nice lens flare on this particular clip. And you can see my searching there has brought up the various options that match that criteria. So I'm going to drag in the 3D lens flare. You can see that's added it onto my clip. And as I pick up that icon there, you can see I can just move this around my image, and wherever I want to put it is where I'll let go. See, I can also change the pivot position there. Hopefully you can see that on the through the webinar. You can see I'm getting my JJ Abrams on here. Hopefully he's very pleased with what I'm adding. So you can see that I've added it in. There's a whole wealth of options that we can go through and change. I'm not going to fiddle with all of them. I'm going to fiddle with a couple of them just so you can see almost real time what I'm doing to this particular clip. And what's particularly nice, which you probably don't get with another application, is I can actually play that back. It's not, it is slightly, it's not overly smooth there, but being able to add such an advanced plugin here and still be able to play it back at all is actually no mean feat. But what we can do is, if it doesn't play back smoothly, is in the free version and create versions, is on the menu down here, we've got the, let's move it up, the render option. So in the free version, render is limited to MOV Cineform at 720p. If you've got the create license, it's still MOV and Cineform, but it will be based on the output playback format of your sequence. So if you're at 4K, it'll render at 4K. If you're at 720p, it'll render at 720p. So there's a good reason for upgrading from free to create. And obviously, if you're running pro like I am, you get all the container options and all the compression options that are available to you. I want to render that clip. on my timeline. So I'm going to click start. What's really nice about that is it's a background task, so I can carry on working. So I'm going to go and find my next thing, which is a distort. If I can, there we go. And I want to add a lens distort to this particular clip here. And you can see it's opened up the, oh, that's really nice. It's popped up the task log is completed, which is the render that we did. We'll go back and play that in a little bit later. So what I want to do for this particular clip is I want to distort it just before it goes into our Facebook page there. So what I'm going to do is I wanted it progressively to happen. So I'm going to enable some keyframes here. And what I want it to do is I'll just tap to the end. And what I want it to do is at the end, I want it to be really distorted, which looks, just to give you, again, this is not something we've never been able to do in Lightworks before. And now we're doing it with a plugin from a third-party vendor. And you can see there, as I scrub through that, it's probably happening a little bit too late in the sequence there, sorry, on the clip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our graphs tab here. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move how long that takes to come in on our graphs tab. And you can see there as I scrub across now, as it starts, it happens a little bit quicker. In fact, I can play that back. It's a very powerful effect being actually played back. I don't even need to render that. The majority of the time you will. So again, going back to what we were saying about right-clicking and adding render, it's a very simple process to do. So that last clip there on our timeline, this is a template from New Blue Titler Pro. The only thing I've changed in this template is this line here, which is our Facebook page. The rest of it, as you can see, it's just the pre-built template. So you can actually open up Titler Pro. You can go to their library. They've got all sorts of social media options available, and that was one of them which I changed, and I rendered it in because it was never going to play back smoothly. As I say, most of the third-party effects that you add will require a rendering of some sort. So you're probably wondering what this other clip is here on my timeline, which is completely different from the rest. The reason I've done that is because this particular, if I switch to the audio tab, this particular clip, if I play it back, this may or may not come across in by the webinar, but I'm going to play it anyway.
You're ever going to get that harmonica.
So you can probably hear it's got quite a lot of echo. Now, in 2020, 22.1, we've added in audio plugins. So previously, when you went to the audio tab, the only thing you had available was audio presets. Actually, what we've got now is any plugins that are installed on your system will be available here. So you can see I'm on a Mac, and it's detected all the audio units, the AU ones you can see here. I've also got installed, if I just open up my plugins list here, I've got the Apple ones, which you just mentioned. I've got Acusonos, Isotope, and we do support Sonox as well. There is a list of who vendors we support. I've just enabled all the Waves one. I've got access to all of their plugins. So as you can see, there's a lot there. Some very powerful stuff too. I'm just going to deselect that again, because what I actually want to show you is the audio cleanup assistant from Acusonos, which is particularly nice. So this clip, which it's very, very echoey. If you trust me, it's very, very echoey. What I actually want to do is I want to bring in this particular plugin from Acusonos, which is their cleanup assistant. And I'm going to launch their UI from within our app. And you can see their very nice UI. The key thing up here is if I open up the presets list here, it actually gives me a whole load of presets of actually how to improve my audio, depending on what I want to achieve. From, do I want a bedroom noise removal if I'm, or a deeper voice? I'm very specific on what I want. I want to remove that reverb from my clip. So I'm going to select that preset, and you can see what that's done. It's not only added in the reverb remover, but it's added in a few other plugins as well, which is really useful. And it's actually even given me an assessment. Your audio contains some background noise. Try using the noise remover. Very helpful. Thank you very much. What I actually want to do is want to put in a bit more of a reverb remover. So as I play that back, hopefully this comes through. It may not.
We're going to get that harmonica.
But it's completely removed all that. In fact, if I play that again with that effect turned off,
Get that harmonica.
And then play it again with it on,
We're going to get that harmonica.
and actually turn it off and on during, you can hear that actually we've actually affected the reverb on that clip. And all I've had to do is go into my plus tab there, add the audio cleanup assistant, and enable a preset. Really nice and easy, really effective, really powerful, and a great plugin. The last thing I want to show you is obviously exporting. We mentioned about export formats. So what we've got now in the new Create tier is you've got these 5 new options: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter. We've already previously had Vimeo and YouTube available in the other tiers. So these options allow you to export specifically to that deliverable that you want to go to. You can see there's different formats based on which vendor I'm checking here. You can see the red there is just going to warn me that it's, so Snapchat's going to be portrait only. I'm working in landscape, so it's warning me that there's going to be a slight change there. I want to go to Facebook at landscape. I don't really want to render the whole thing out. I don't really sit there having to watch that. So I'm just going to mark a short section on my timeline. It's already chosen that to export, and I'm going to kick that off. Nice and quick. And you can see what that's done there is it's giving me the link as it normally does for the rendered file, but it's also giving me a link to open up my web browser and actually upload this file to Facebook, and they'll all do that. The nice thing about this is that this is sort of the building blocks for a future version of Lightworks that's coming next year, is that we'll plumb in the upload to these 5 new features. So when you actually select Facebook, there'll be an upload. Do you want to upload it to Facebook? Log in. Great stuff. So it's a one-stop process. That'll be in a future version, but this just gives you the ability to generate the correct file for the social media that you wanted to go to. And as I say, that's available in the Create license and in the Pro license. So in the free license, it's just as it was, which was the Vimeo and YouTube. So a good reason to upgrade to Create. So one last thing I will just show you back on the VFX tab. Peter's talked about what's included with those license tiers. So as I go to the plugins tab, so the free version comes with this transitions pack from NewBlue. And what I'm actually going to do there is I'm just going to enable large thumbnails, just so you can actually, let me just close that. So you can see those transitions that come with the free version. I'll see in free Create Pro. You can see as I mouse over each one, you get a nice little preview of what each of them does. Some of them are particularly nice. Some are, that's quite nice. I can just drag that across to my clip there. And as you can see, it's actually added that over the top of another effect, which is already on my clip. And it's actually transitioning into the last page there of mine. So that's included with the free license. As you move up the tiers to Create, you get NewBlue Titler, and then as you get to Lightworks Pro, you get these NewBlue Essentials, which there's some really nice stuff in here. No point me showing in that. You've seen the video at the start, and some of the promotional stuff and some of the really clever stuff you can do, improving the image, etc. And they're all available to Pro users as well. So hopefully that gives you a good overview of what we've done in 22.1. Open effects, video plugins, audio plugins, and social media export formats. We're really excited about it. We're really pleased about it. I've probably pushed my luck a little bit too far with a live demo. So I'm going to say thank you for watching. I hope that's inspired you to want to come and download and get your hands on this new version. And I'll hand over to Peter.
Thanks, Matt. That was absolutely brilliant. So I just need to get back to the slideshow. Yeah, that was great. Thank you ever so much, Matt. That was wonderful. So that's just really just a taste of what you can do with the latest release. It would be impossible to, give a demo of all of the things that are in there, but you can see it adds an awful lot of capabilities that people, will enjoy. So before we go to questions, I'd just like to offer you the it's a Blue Friday promo. So this offer will initially go out to new subscription and outright customers first of Lightworks Pro. We will get the offer out to everyone else who has or is already on subscription. That just takes a little bit of tweaking in the way that we put that forward to you and in our shop. But it's an upgrade to NewBlue's Total Effects package, plugin package. And when you see the pricing, you'll just see quite how staggering it is. So for just $10 a month, which is saving $30 a month, you can get the NewBlue Total Effects package. If you're a monthly subscriber, take out a monthly subscription, $100 per year if you take out a yearly subscription, or $200 outright, which is saving a staggering $1,300. So please do check out the offer while it lasts. It is a promo, it's not unlimited. And the upgrade includes New Blue's Elements, which is a collection of video compositing tools, New Blue's Filters, which is a collection of color correction tools and effects, New Blue's Stylizers, a collection of advanced footage effects, including motion blurs, distortions, the sort of thing that transforms your footage with brilliant effects of light, color, and motion. So please do check it out on our website, although there is a video that we made earlier, which I will just switch to, and we'll play that. So great, thank you very much. So we're ready to go to questions if you're ready. We hope that Lightworks 2022 suits you, suits your needs, suits your budget. Any questions, please?
Cool. Cheers, Peter. There's been loads of questions actually, and thanks Rob and Jamie and Matt for steadily working your way through a lot of them whilst we've been talking. The first one, and this has come up quite a few times over the last 2 or 3 minutes, was what were those New Blue total effects prices again? Do you mind just going back a slide, Peter?
Okay, sure.
Cool. Okay, let's just leave this slide up for a minute so so people can just take those in, screenshot, or just appreciate those massive savings. Okay, next one. What's the best? This is another one that's come in a few times. So what is bundled in with Create and Pro? So what are the differences?
Well, the differences, there's quite a few bits and pieces in there. Like I say, we've simplified free, remove some of the things that have been intimidating people when they first come to Lightworks. The best thing is to go to the website and look at the comparison page, and you go through you know, the usual tick boxes of what comes with each product. That's the best thing to do. But largely, Create gives people the ability to export 4K, and they get the, you know, really powerful title tool for making you know, the kind of motion graphics for people who, you know, are exporting for, you know, professional marketing reasons or other communications or house of worship editing, and exports directly to the social media outputs. And Lightworks Pro has all the really advanced stuff. You know, if you're doing cut lists and change lists for feature film work, you'll find it in Lightworks Pro. And Lightworks Pro's got a lot of the correct and enhanced tools that we've bundled in from New Blue as well. But the best thing to do is to go to the website under comparison. That'll give you all of the detail in far better form than I can do verbally.
Cool. Just seen one pop in about this as well, which I'll quickly get to. Thanks, Rick, for this question. New Blue outright $200. Is that a one-time fee? Yes, that is. The monthly at $10 and the yearly at $100 are subscription fees. So $10 a month, $100 a year. Outright is $200, one-time, lifetime deal. Cool. Okay, we've got a few other questions on this sort of subject as well. So I'll kind of generalize a lot of them. Do I get the upgrades if I'm a monthly customer? Do I get these upgrades if I'm a yearly customer? Do I get these upgrades if I'm an outright customer?
That's the beauty of subscription. You automatically get all of the upgrades. Now, the upgrade to Total Effects is not included in that package, but all of the other elements are. So people will be upgrading to Lightworks. All customers who will get significant upgrades will either be free or they'll be Lightworks Pro customers to date. So the Pro customers will get all the title tool, motion graphics, and the correct and enhance tools, as well as the other things that we put into this version. If you're an outright purchaser, there is an upgrade charge. We're making it very reasonable. That will be mailed out to you separately. It does depend whether if you purchased your outright license, some time ago, then it is a more expensive upgrade than anyone who we kind of price protect, who purchased within, I think it's from July the 7th, is the cutoff period when 21.3 came out. That will be an attractive package for those people and less costly. But we'll get you the information individually by email. It's also available in our portal. You can log in, look at the licenses you've got, and you'll be able to see the upgrades that you get automatically, and the offers to upgrade to Total Effects as well will be there. Like a one-time special offer, it'll be there shortly. I hope that helps.
Cool. Thanks, Peter. When is all of this available?
Well, now.
You sound pretty confident about that.
Well, we have to switch over the website to put all these things in. So maybe you can tip me off if that's been completed, Martin.
It's very nearly there. So,
okay, so very shortly. There's an awful lot of changes that we've got to switch in, both in the portal, the shop, as well as the website, and it's happening. It always takes a few moments, and there'll be a little bit of downtime, and then it'll be there. So don't forget us, don't let the impulse go or something like that. But check us out shortly. We will have all of the updates there, all of the comparisons, the product specifications will be there as soon as the switchover happens.
Cool. Okay. One for you probably, Matt. Can I upgrade and continue to use 2 workspaces?
Can I upgrade? When you say workspaces, I guess there's more questions that get asked there. If you're running the Pro version, yes, you can still have shared projects, and you can still save your projects to a different location if that's the question you're asking.
It could be activations, couldn't it?
There's still 2 activations that we issue per license. So if you are buying Lightworks Pro or Create, you will get 2 activations.
We've got this a few times as well. What are the minimum specs of the GPUs?
That's on our website. I can't remember off the top of my head for the specs, but it's under the tech spec page. I think it really depends on what you're working with as well. I think the minimum to get by is at least 500 gig graphics card, NVIDIA, AMD. Really do recommend more than that, a gig at least. It really depends on what you're working. The more RAM you have, obviously, the better. But it really depends on what. If you're working with 4K and you multicam, then you really need a more powerful machine.
And is all of this available on Linux?
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Matt, you take that.
No, you go.
Well, yes, we continue to support Linux. We make Linux as feature. We have feature parity in all regards with Linux wherever possible. The gotcha is that a lot of the plugins, and that does include the new Blue bundles, are not available with Linux because they're not available for Linux. But there are other plugin packages, more the kind of high-end feature film ones, or some more things that people have made individually, but high-end noise reduction, things like Sapphire, Continuum, Mocha now, those are all available on Linux because they're available on Linux. So that is a little bit of a difference, but in terms of Lightworks, we're feature parity in every regard wherever possible.
Cool. Okay. Is Create HD? I guess that means can you export in HD on Lightworks Create?
100%. You can go to 4K.
That was answered too quickly for me to find another question. Johnson, repeat that.
The options, one thing's worth mentioning there is the options sort of remain the same. So there's still Vimeo, YouTube up to 4K, and there's the H.264 MP4 option that goes up to 4K as well. But of course in Create, as I mentioned earlier, is that there's the new social platforms as well. So Create does go up to 4K with those options that we've just talked about.
Okay.
Good audio questions, since audio is such a big deal with what we're doing these days with Lightworks.
There have been lots of lovely comments about audio, and Jamie, our audio dev, has been going through answering some. I'll try and find some in just a moment. But Matt, can the VFX plugin path or folder be adapted?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Presumably that's to share plugins between different platforms. I think we have to have a specific folder.
Yeah, we scan what's on the system and we put them into our own folder so that we can find them readily, so we don't have to rescan.
Cool. Okay. In terms of audio, what audio plugins can be supported? What audio plugins are supported, rather?
We support Waves, Acusonus, Sonox, Melda, which I think is a free plugin provider. Those are the ones we officially support. That means we've got them, we've tried them, we're using them. There obviously are others out there which we're going to add support for over time. So it would be really handy actually to find out what people are running out there. We sort of tried to get some of the biggest ones we could in the timescale available working. Those are the ones we officially support, but they should, any other plugin should effectively work, obviously because of the structure of it. But we will increase our supported list as time goes by.
Cool. What sort of audio plugins do we support? I mean, sorry, I'll answer this because I know the answer already. So VST3, LADSPA, and AU. Sorry, Matt, you're probably thinking of the actual vendors rather than the rather than the architecture types. And it's VST3, not VST2, as that's no longer supported by Steinberg. I sound like I know what I'm talking about when I say that. I'm just reading it. When will we've had this quite a lot. It's nothing to do with audio. When will this be uploaded onto the LWKS website? It'll most likely go on our YouTube, and that will be tomorrow or Friday once we've had a chance to touch it up and do a bit of editing. You don't want all of my ums and ahs and that sort of thing. Have we got any, Matt, this is for you again, have we got any round trip workflows for working with FCP or Adobe or
yeah, so in the pro version there's XML export which goes to the old style sort of XML for Premiere and Resolve and any other vendors that support that style of XML. And then there's FCPX, which is a sort of newer style of XML. we support that as well. So anything that supports AAF XML is as an interchange format we should be able to interchange with.
Cool. Okay. Do we have? We always get a couple of questions like this whenever we do AMAs or Q&As. When are we bringing back when are we bringing up? Excuse me. When are we bringing back the keyboards? When are we bringing back the shuttles? Do we have any recommendations for control surfaces? Do you both want to take that?
Whenever there's a really difficult question to answer just off the cuff, you always hear someone say, "That's a good question," don't you? So that's a good question. We would dearly like to have the console. We understand how great the console is, but all of the manufacturing components, the molds, the manufacturing pieces of the consoles have long since been lost, well before we formed LWKS. And there's a lot of complexity in what do you actually make. So do you make exactly the same console that always worked so well and was so popular? Do you modify it with some hotkeys? How much do you pay? Are customers willing to pay for it? Things on those front. We talk about that, we think about that, and we would like to launch something as soon as we can. But please, we need some time to do a lot of the software development and get those things going. As you can imagine, we've only been going 14 months at this, and hopefully you see that we've got some momentum, but getting out a console, mechanical designs, manufacturing, shipping worldwide, that's actually quite complicated, and we need a bit more time to get that right. So please bear with us. It's a question we have all the time.
Thanks, Peter. A few more questions still coming in. Will you ever consider working with the people from Baselight for a Baselight edition that works in Lightworks?
Baselight make a fabulous plugin, and you know, Baselight is the gold standard for film finishing. It's a product to die for, and the guys at Baselight have, you know, more brains than anyone I know in this world. Their products like TrueLight, the first people with color cube, stuff like that, we'd be delighted to work with them. And I'm sure lots of people export projects to Baselight for finishing.
Cool. Okay, so I guess the quick answer to that is we'd like to, but
well, we can already work with Baselight, but the things like the Baselight plugin probably requires a bit of work and qualifying, which we have not started yet, but we should get onto it. We'll contact them. We'll have a word with them. I know Wolfgang reasonably well, and we'll get in touch.
Cool. Okay, we're still getting lots of questions in about upgrading to outright. I think it's probably worth upgrades for outright users rather. It's probably worth just touching back on that, Peter.
There are well, outright purchasers can choose when and what to buy. That's the beauty of outright. You're not locked into any kind of subscription. But it does mean that someone who purchased Lightworks, I don't know, an outright purchase of Lightworks 2 years ago, will have to pay to get the latest version. And they will have to pay more than someone who, you know, quite rightly would say, why did I purchase in October when you've upgraded in November? So what we do is we step back a healthy period and offer people who purchased in recent months a much better cost for upgrading. But as you can imagine, you know, things like the New Blue plugins, that's a significant cost for us that then goes into the new product. We can't spend money to give it to people who purchased outright some time ago. So there is a cost. It's less It's less if you purchased after July the 7th than it is if you purchased before July the 7th. And we will specifically email you with the costs and the upgrade options to go to Total Effects as soon as we can. It'll be a matter of a day or so before you'll get the offer in writing.
Cool. Thanks for that, Peter. Still having a few people ask about 7-day licenses on free trials. I'm happy to.
Not a free trial.
Not
right?
a free trial.
It's what we did is we simply wanted to know how many people downloaded Lightworks and never used it, and how many people are continuing to use Lightworks free for a considerable period. So we put in this 7-day login. So after 7 days, I log in and another 7 days go by without having to log in again, just to know who was using what. But, you know, this wasn't being, I don't know, clearly expressed. People said it's just a free trial, which it's not. So we've extended that to 3 months. So with this new version, you can download the free version. You'll need to log in to do that. And then you'll have 3 months before you need to just log in again. That's all you have to do. You get a prompt, log in, you log in, and then it will work for another 3 months. There's no time limitation on the trial. There's no time limitation on the free license. It is not a trial.
Cool. Okay. Thanks for that, Peter. We've still got dozens and dozens and dozens of questions here. I think probably the best thing for us to do now is get back to everybody individually, because some of them are getting into quite detailed and specific workflows or questions about individual accounts, rather than the general stuff that can help everybody. And we're coming up to the hour. Well, we're a few minutes away from coming up to the hour, but I think it's probably best to leave it there. Matt, thanks so much for the demo, and Peter, thanks so much for going over what's happening in Lightworks 2022 and what's new, and the Black Friday offer as well. As Peter said, there'll be promotional emails going out to everybody who signed up for the webinar about Total Effects before we do the general Black Friday release. So you guys get those, get first dibs on all of these, and I think we'll leave it there. Thanks a lot for joining us. Really, really appreciate it, and have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the new version.
Lovely. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye.